Now step 14 and 15, I'm going to make up the C-hubs there for the front steering, put the balls on the steering there, so we've got that connected up, and we're going to fit that to the front of the chassis. So that's the front suspension complete. You can see the steering arms are now on, the shafts are in there, all turned round. We've got the plate on the front holding the linking for the bottom suspension, and the other side's on, and we're all going up and down nicely. So okay, moving on to step 16. So parts 14 and 15 are done. Got the suspension and the steering fitted to the front. A word of warning though, make sure you fit in the shafts and the bearings before you attach to the C-mount, because it won't fit in afterwards. So word of warning there. We're just going to move on to parts 16 and 17, which is the middle suspension parts and drive shafts, and these components here that screw either side of the battery box. Okay, to show you putting an upright on, we've got the bearing in there and the wheel axle. Line that up, bottom wishbone greased up, and we'll slide that in. Just check, yeah, you can see the drive shafts in there, and it's all ready to get tightened up. Okay, so we'll just finish the other. So now we're going to do parts, steps 18, 19, 20 and 21, which is attaching all of the front, the rear suspension mounts and the drive shafts and the wheel shafts. These are parts. Put the bottom wishbones together and fit it all to the chassis. Alright, it's rear suspension on now, you can see moving quite freely, drive shafts are in there, and the diff's working properly. It's a bit stiff with all that grease, but there you go. So that's all the suspension units onto the body. So now we're going to do step 22, which is building these lovely friction shocks. Now obviously I'm not a fan of these, but at the moment I've just bought it. It's going to be expensive to replace all these with CVA oil filled, so we're going to stick these on. I'll just show you building the one shock. You don't want to see 6 being built one after the other. So first thing we need to do is to get one of the pins, put it through the body, and then attach the bottom mount on. Next thing we need to do is put a nice piece of rubber, which I've already cut. It comes like this. You need to cut it into 12mm lengths, roughly. I don't think it really matters that much. It says put a bit of grease in there, so try and get some grease in. Using a brush. Just push that in. Looks like there's no damping whatsoever there. So there's your lovely friction damper with basically no damping at all. Anyway, that's what you get. Your spring on, your bottom collar, there we go. Oh dear, I think we're going to need to put a bit of a spacer on there because it doesn't fit properly. I'll build the others and see if they're all the same, but yeah, okay, I'll see you in 5 more shocks time. So that's the 6 shocks built. Well, I say 6 shocks, but I cheated. I had a look in my spare parts box and I've got a couple of CVA oil filled shocks. I think we're off my Sand Viper, which I've swapped out. I just had to change the shock bottoms because they were too long for the ones that come with this kit, and now they're the same length. So I'm going to stick those on the front. We've got a bit of old damp in there, and built all the other friction shocks, and it wasn't just the one. The springs are loose on all of them, so I found these again out my spares box. We'll just stick one of the spacers in, and that stops it from flapping about. I think that's a bit better because the bottom cup might fall off. So I'm just going to fit those now, step 23, onto the chassis. all the shocks are mounted then. You can see there's your friction shocks, a little bit different now with those CVAs on the front. Nice bit of damping and a lot more travel as well. We'll see if that creates a problem, but I think it looks okay. So there you go, all 6 suspension units are on. What we're going to do now is step 26. What we need to do is to centre up the servo so we can put the steering plate on in the right position. So that's fitted on now. It's just short of being square. You can see that would be about square. The diagram showed it slightly past square, so that looks about right. What we're going to do now, step 27, we're going to put the steering linkages together. So this is going to be the steering linkage. It's got some ball bearings to go in there instead of the bushings, and we put the mount on to the servo. Okay, servo and linkage is done. Step 28 there is we've got to make 3 tie rods. So set this to exactly 24mm, your tie rods, and screw them all on. Okay, steering linkage. I've got this metal bar pin that's going to go through the centre, a screw to lock it into place. And make sure you get this right. I've got this the other way around to the step 29 diagram, but I'm left-handed, so this might work for me. So what we need is for these linkage to go through there, through the gap. If you look at the heart, there's a hole there. If you line that up, we'll try and slide the bearings into place. This is easier said than done. Okay, I think that's gone in. So I'll go to the servo. This is for the wheels, and I need to get the pin in that hole now. It's quite a tight fit. There we go, it's gone in. I'm pushing it down with the screw, so it's gone right down, and then the screw fits in the side there just to stop it from dropping out. Okay, so step 30, got to get the screws here through the side of the battery holder and into those mounts that we've put onto the servo. And you need, I can't use but this one little screwdriver, so we need a long screwdriver to get through the holes the other side, get to those screws there, attach that firmly to the side like so. Step 32, going to attach the ESC double-sided tape onto here, and then the receiver, same double-sided tape onto there. Thread the aerial through the aerial holder, and then screw that on the back there. So I've missed out 31, which is just putting the battery plate on, because I'm going to put the battery in. I'll put a bit of foam on that. I think I'll use some different foam, but anyway, we'll put that on after when I put the battery in. I've done 32, 33 and 34, so got the receiver and the ESC on, connected it all up, and then 34 I've fitted on the rear bumper there. It's just 4 screws, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, nice and easy to put on. And now we're on step 35. Attach the body mounts, again just 1 screw into this top mount here for each one. It's nice and easy. Step 37, I'm going to fit the bearings and the pins into each of the hubs. So 6 of them to do. There's the bearings ready, and there's the pins. We'll put the hex drives on, and then I'm going to do 38 at the same time, which is just these 2 screws, 2 springs, and the bumper that fits on the front. Now these have proved a bit to be a little bit tight to go into the housing there, so it's probably because these are the metal bearings and not the plastic ones, but I'll try and put this on the steering there. That one's gone in. It's a bit tight, but that one's gone in. This one, it does not want to go in, so what I've done is got the hex drive, put it over the end, and give it a really good push. As you can see, that was quite difficult to get on, but yeah, if it's not going on, give it a push with the hex drive. Okay, so we've got all the other wheels on there. Put the last wheel on. It's quite awkward getting in these deep dish wheels with a little box wrench. That's the chassis built. Got the bumper on the front. It's just 2 screws through the front there. Put the springs on. Okay, let's just see if it works. Took the battery, we'll just do it like this just to see if everything's okay. There's the SC beep. Turn it on. Okay, so we've got steering there. Looks good. And sounds as smooth as gravy. Okay, so there we go. Seems like it's running smoothly. Everything seems to be functioning okay. So there we have it. Tamiya's Konghead 6-wheel drive, chassis finished. Thanks for watching.